To the final question now, what do you see in all the companies that you visit the most common mistake to be that people tend to really make over and over again all the time? And related to this, again, the biggest misconception about lean that you encounter?
Well, early on I was involved in trying to plant seeds all over the place and launch lean programs, often with big consulting firms on the back, to do them, simply to plant the seeds and get people exposed to it. Increasingly, we get called back in after these big consulting firms have done their stuff and spent the money and trained a lot of people, and nothing's happened. And management says, hey, well, there must be more to this than this. And that's indeed the case, and that's where they come up against the issue of having to change their behavior and actually change the way they manage. So I think everybody's made the mistakes, and they've done the big lean programs and so on. And was that necessary? You could argue probably it was. People did have to go through that because to learn that isn't the answer. Our challenge now is to take them the next step and actually build the examples, take the management to the Gemba and build the examples that teach management how to manage and teach management of the significance of what can be achieved on the Gemba for next generation product, for growing the business, for saving cash, for reducing the need for capital expenditure and so on. And what managers have often been, because they haven't actually understood the potential of lean actually at the Gemba, they found it very hard to translate the process improvements that come as a result into business results. And so therefore the finance director says, well, it's great, all this activity, but where is it? And it is management's responsibility, not the shop floor's responsibility, to translate those into growth and cash and costs and so on. And I think we've got to that point where we are now able to do a better job of beginning to explain the business consequences of lean.
Great.
I completely agree with that. You can't delegate it. You can't delegate it. The biggest mistake management makes is to delegate it. And what you can't delegate is a very simple realization. You have to go to the shop floor to realize that your frontline management, the guys who actually deliver the results for you, think of a department head or office, a line guy. He's got 3 problems to solve. First, he needs to get the production out or deliver the service. Second, he needs to put out the fires he created because he doesn't control his processes well enough. This is his own lack of knowledge of actually detailed process. And third, he has to deal with all the crap that corporate is enforcing on him. Because corporate was built to control costs. So you have all these big corporate programs to control cost. So in fact, what we see is the business fighting against the value and the cash. So we've built historically these businesses on cost control, and I think it would be fair to say that lean is about cash flow in both senses. So unless the CEO gets this, sees this, then the lean transformation won't happen. So the biggest mistake people think is thinking of lean as one more cost control program they're going to add to total quality and HR and finance. Whereas what really it is about creating a better relationship between frontline management and the workers, between frontline management and sales, engineering, production, procurement. Politically, this creates a bit of a problem because typically businesses are run with staff functions. They're run with finance and HR and IT and quality and purchasing. And now we're saying, well, CEO, you now have to talk to another group of people who are your sales guy, your engineering guy, your production guy, your procurement guy. They're not the same people. And this, I think, creates some political tension. And the only person who can resolve this tension is the CEO. If the CEO has delegated this to one more program, you're increasing the problem as opposed to reducing the problem.
Yeah, I think many people think of lean as a recipe. So just give me the recipe, and I'll follow the recipe, and everything will be fine, without really taking the time to understand what lean is. So I think that's a pitfall. And the second is trying to learn this in the classroom, so without practicing and doing the work. So that would be my answer.
Well, it's great. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Renee. Thank you, Michael,
Thank you,
for being with
Roberto.
us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And